One of the last indie releases of the year combines the boss battles of Shadow of the Colossus with the exploration of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. The release of Praey For The Gods is another useful opportunity to emphasize that not all indie games are imaginative, one-of-a-kind arthouse creations. A lot of them are uninspired, bandwagon-chasing clones that are all but indistinguishable from dozens of other, similar games. Either that or they're desperately trying to copy another, much more famous title. If you've ever played PlayStation Classic Shadow of the Colossus, then the moment the first boss battle starts up in Praey For The Gods, you'll realize just how shameless a copy this. Then there's a moment, a little later on, where you collect a sailcloth you can use as a hang glider, and you realize the game also really wants to be Zelda, Breath of the Wild. Despite the glaring fact that this is essentially Shadow of the Colossus 1.5, Praey For The Gods immediately feels like the lesser of the two. On a more positive note, the game's scale and artistic direction is impressive, especially considering the small size of the development team. The gods themselves look superb and display a more sinister, macabre design when compared to the more mechanical look of the colossi. Like Shadow of the Colossus, there is no dialogue or overt plot to follow. The world is stripped down to a dreamlike minimalism. The voiceless protagonist's motivations as inscrutable as the very landscapes that lay between you and your prey. Each of the towering monsters defeated brings you one step closer to some unknowable denouement, literally so in the early access version, where only the first 5 can be found and slain, as the world itself seems to respond incrementally to each god's demise. There is an aching atmosphere of deep melancholy, a lonely iron heaviness that pervades Shadow of the Colossus, which the developers of Praey For The Gods have managed to deftly transplant into their own game. It's a mood helped along by a similarly rousing choral and orchestral soundtrack. In perhaps the biggest departure from Shadow of the Colossus, a game in which the attack button gathers dust between each boss battle, there are regular, smaller enemies to fight besides the giants. Not many, just a few undead soldiers springing from the snow here and there, the odd transparent wraiths skulking about near a bush. But enough to change the tone and pace of the exploration, where Shadow of the Colossus was defined by drawn-out and quietly contemplative rides across the game's yawning plains and featureless deserts, accompanied by nothing but the rhythmic cloppity-clopping of your horse's hooves. Praey For The Gods is a lot more hands-on during these intervals, more meandering and immediately perilous.